Hey everyone, good morning from my kitchen. The theme of my video today is coffee. It's morning for me, so I'm going to show you how I make my usual daily latte. And I use it using a coffee pot device that's called a Bialetti, basically used for making stovetop espresso. And I like to have different kinds of coffee throughout the day, but my first coffee of the day I like to be stronger, and I do add milk to this. I like to drink black, but this one I add milk and I make it into a latte. No sugar with 2% milk. Alright, so the coffee that I use is actually it's this one right here. I keep it in the freezer. It's by Lavazza. And I was first introduced to this coffee by my friend who traveled to Italy and brought some back for me, and it's just absolutely delicious. So I've been buying it online since they don't sell it where I live, and it's a little bit on the pricey side, but it is really yummy. It comes in 3 pieces. So you have the bottom area right here, and let's just get started as I talk you through it. So the bottom area here, we fill up with water, and then we have this. It's a filter and a funnel. So that sits right into the water. I get my coffee, and it smells fabulous. So we pour the coffee into this funnel filter. You can see that it's kind of full, and now I'm going to just take my clean, of course, fingers and firmly part. You can see it's just like little coffee pot. And this is made out of metal. It heats up really quickly, and it has a plastic handle so that you can grab it without burning your hands off when it's ready on the stove. So we screw that on tight, and you can see right here that it has a pressure valve. So when we put it on the stove, the bottom part obviously gets really hot. It's made of metal. It boils, it pushes the pressure up through the coffee, and then the coffee ends up in the top. And it has this pressure valve so the whole thing just doesn't blow up. Alright, so now we're going to put this on the stove, and it just takes a few minutes. Alright, so I just put the coffee and the water back away, and the next step that we're going to do as our coffee is, we have the coffee right here on the stove, and that's going to heat up, and as that is preparing, we are going to make the most perfect latte foam, and I will show you exactly how to do that just right now. Alright, so I have this. It looks kind of like a French press. It's called Cafe Froth, and I am just so impressed by this little device. So the milk that I use, I get from a local farm. It's organic and clean. This is 2%, and I absolutely love this jar that it comes in. It reminds me of like the 1950s, because so I pour my milk into the froth, and you can see there's a line right here by my pinky, so I pour to about that line. So as I wait for this type of coffee to prepare, I don't like to go too far from the stove, so I usually just do some dishes or straighten up in the kitchen somewhere, just so I'm not too far away. So when the coffee is getting to this boiling point and getting ready, it makes these noises, and it actually sounds like a real, like a big espresso cappuccino machine. So I'm going to try to give you a shot of that when it's at this boiling stage so that you can hear how it sounds, because it's actually really neat. I think that's one of the most kind of fun parts of this process. Alright, see it. So you can hear it, you can see the steam coming out, and this means that it's almost ready. And as soon as we stop hearing this roaring bubble, then the coffee is ready to be poured. Alright, so now we're all ready to pour. So I'm going to take my mug, I put a little bit of coffee in the bottom. So look how just wonderfully thick and delicious that looks. It's incredible. Alright, so we have our foam, and now on top we're going to add our coffee. And you can see it kind of changing the colors here. The coffee is going to the bottom. We have this mixture, and then we have this nice thick foam that's right on top. And it just smells absolutely fabulous. Here's a view of the top of my mug so you can just see this wonderfully thick foam. And actually the amount that I made, it prepares enough for about 2 of these glasses, but I will drink it myself. Don't worry about that. Alright, so my first coffee of the day, I don't like to eat anything with it. I like to just enjoy my coffee. And I actually do have some oatmeal waiting, but when I eat that, I'm going to have some green tea or some other kind of tea with it. My first coffee of the day, I really just like to have as my own personal time. I go to a quiet place and just like to start my day off nicely, stress-free, with a delicious and beautiful coffee. And now you can see that I have some coffee with milk down here, and this wonderfully thick foam is all in the top. So, cheers, good morning, and here's to coffee. Alright guys, I hope you have a great day and enjoy your coffee time. What kind of coffee do you like to have first during the day? How do you like to enjoy your coffee? Do you add sugar? Do you add milk? What do you like to use? So again, this is mine. It's my espresso lavazza on the bottom, and then I have my milk foam. I use 2% milk, and I do not add any sugar. Alright guys, so enjoy! So good. Alright guys, have a great day. Oh, and you know, just one thing in closing that I'd like to show you is how to clean this pot when you're done with it. So right now it's pretty hot, but I'll just show you the idea that you would unscrew it the same way that you put it together, and the bottom will have no water in it now because it's all turned into your coffee, which came to this top chamber. And then you have your filter in the middle, which would be full of coffee. Remember that metal funnel filter. So let me show you how the coffee looks from a one that I made a little earlier. Well, I lied. Actually, it's not from earlier. It's from yesterday. I have these coffee pads, coffee patties, whatever, sitting in the sink. So I just dump them there when I'm done with my coffee. Say, for example, later on in the day you do all your dishes and your hands are, you know, smell like dishes, and you don't want that, of course. So you can rub this on your hands and wash your hands with the coffee. It's going to exfoliate them wonderfully and remove any smells. It's going to take away that dish smell, it'll take away the smell of fish, it'll take away garlic. Any smells you have on your hands, use this coffee and it's like a wonder product. So that's just another wonderful use and a very green way to use the coffee already used to drink. You can also even put this in plants. I heard for green plants it makes a wonderful fertilizer, but for right now I'm just going to wash my hands with it since, as I mentioned, I did just do the dishes. So now I've cleaned out my sink and I'm going to get rid of the sink smell from my hands. Alright guys, so I'll see you in the next video. If you have other tips or tricks for what you do with your coffee grounds, share them down below. I'd love to hear it. Alright, see you in the next video. Bye.